Welcome, everyone, again to episode 2 of the CIY podcast, where we talk all about the ways in which you can create it yourself, create the spaces, create the atmosphere, create the home that you want for yourself. So, for episode 2, we'll be talking about my journey to owning a home. Well, actually, our journey to buying a home. On this episode, we have Joel, my husband. Introduce yourself,
That's me.
Joel.
I'm Joel.
Welcome, Joel.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
The king of unhinged, as I like to call you. So I thought it was important to have Joe for this episode because my journey of buying a house, it would be incomplete if I told the story by myself because I bought the home with him. And I just thought it would be important to also have different perspectives of what it was like for us. We started at different, so we had different starting points to buying a home, and we're also just like very different people. And so, someone who is like me, a bit tightly wound, I wouldn't necessarily call myself like type A. Would you call me type A?
I plead the fifth.
No, I don't think I'm type A at all. I'm not as rigid and as like well organized. Sometimes I wish I was type A, but I'm on my way there. And then he's type Z, if there's a type Z.
No, I'm not type B.
So I think it would just be helpful to have like different like perspectives of it. So do you want to like introduce yourself a little bit? Not telling your whole life story because privacy.
Hi, everyone. This is Joel. I'm the husband. A little bit about me. I'm also a father, a son, a brother. I grew up in a household with English parents and next door to a family that was from West Virginia, well, somewhat from West Virginia. So my childhood was a little bit mixed with different influences in my life. I am a Virginia boy. I think I just mentioned that, but I'm here to help out as much as I can, as much as my wife will let me, because sometimes she doesn't let me do much, or she just wants me to do a lot and I choose not to. I haven't determined which one, but I look forward to this, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
Right, so let's talk a little bit about what it was like for us buying the house. Like, what was that process like for you?
Well, for me, I hated it. I did like in the beginning, we used to go when we were dating, the good old days. We used to, because you've always wanted a house, and that was your dream. And I wasn't in a spot where I could get a home when we were dating. And you wanted to go, essentially you wanted to like go house shopping. And I always found that fun because we'd go visit all around the area, and the area, has tons of homes, and it was fun to look at homes and do the what if.
And dream.
Yeah, and then that was great, but then when it became serious, and we got ourselves a realtor, which was...
We'll talk about that.
But it wasn't,
The pressure was on, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have... it's hard because you want to make the right choice. You have X amount of dollars to spend. You're willing to go to X amount of dollars. And your tastes are XYZ amount of dollars. And you just try and find the best fit for your money. And you're under the impression buying a home is like... There's so many different facets to buying a home. You buy a finished home where you're completely happy with it, and you're like, oh, this is the home of my dreams. This is, we're not going to change anything. Maybe 10 years down the road, we're gonna be here forever. And then there's the startup home, which
is important to note that like both of us are first time home buyers. The process, I think, what also didn't help was that we had given our apartment notice, and I think we had to extend it by 3 months, and
they kept raising the rent.
When you do the extension, they raise the rent like exponentially, and we didn't want to keep
they
paying
make
that
it to a
amount
point
of
where
money.
you want to sign a lease for another year.
I never got to that point. Let me tell you something. So I don't consider myself to be like this like uber faithful person. I'm like working towards it. What?
You say faithful?
Faithful as no, as in like
I'm just
faith,
saying.
spiritual. But
Okay.
like I'm working towards it. No, I'm not like this isn't like confessions of like I have side pieces.
We just learned something, ladies and gentlemen.
No, so it's just like when I believe in something, like just listen to me, just follow along. Like if there's a bus coming and I say let's still cross the street, the bus is gonna swerve and miss us. Step out into the street because I know it in my heart and I know it in my spirit that the bus is going to swerve. And so when we were buying our house, like I knew the clock was going, but I kept saying to you, we're going to get the home. Like we're going. And I remember we went and looked at a place and the realtor like I think we had another like reminder conversation sort of with him to be like, this is our timeline. And he was like, oh, I don't think you're going to make it. That's too tight. Da, da, da. And I was just like, what he was saying was just going through one ear and through the other. But it went all the way
realtor?
in your head. Yeah, it got in your head and you got very like anxious about it and like you're like I think we need to call the property manager and like tell her that we need more time. I think we maybe need to sign for the. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that. We're gonna get this home. I was like, you need to stop listening to that man. I was like, he's not God, he does not know. I was like, we're going to get this home. And so that added to the pressure and to your like anxiety. Like you said, it's a big purchase. You don't want to make the mistake of like buying the wrong house or feeling like you bought what did they call it, like what did they call it? It's not a cash cow. Is that a cash cow?
You mean a money pit?
Yeah. That was always in the back of my head. It's like I did not want to buy a money pit. So yeah, it I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I still enjoyed the process. You absolutely hated it. And I had to like I tried to have these like calming conversations, but you just were not
Well,
having
it didn't add to the realtor he was impatient as well. But
Oh yeah.
he didn't like, well, whatever's gonna like. What did he say? He's like, well, at this rate, we're just not gonna find the spot or whatever you want. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
he made some sort of really nice guy, but I think looking back at it, he was not the right fit for
no,
us.
you need to find a realtor that's the right fit for you because you need to basically you need to make a list of what you want. You need to be realistic with the person that's showing you the homes because it is a massive, and you don't even know the cost. Even when you're sitting there like with the, this house costs, just say $100,000. Okay, there's $100,000. You saved up all this money to put 20% down. Then there's this added extra cost that you're completely unaware of: insurance, inspections, all this stuff that you're like, what? That's not covered in the
In the
thing?
$100,000.
That's insane. But I mean, everything's money. It's capitalism. Not to get in all that, but yeah. I didn't like it, Jamie. It was not my favorite experience, and I think also it wasn't my favorite experience because I didn't know much.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing things that my eyes get big, and when I see something I want, I go out and get it, much to your dismay. But obviously, takes two people to tango with a house. But like I'm very much like, ooh, like it's shiny over there. I want that. I don't care what it takes to get it. I want it. And me not knowing all the intricacies of house buying, added to my anxiety, and it started to doubt. I started to doubt myself as well, and I didn't know what was up and what was down, and it's nerve-wracking. I didn't like that part. I enjoyed like.
You didn't like that part, as in the whole house
Yeah,
buying
the whole
part,
house
so the
buying
whole
thing.
thing.
But I did enjoy going to look at houses with you, especially the nice ones. And it's like you go see a house and you're like, I could see myself in that.
Yeah.
House. Ooh, yeah. I was like, I could see like having a cookout in the garden. I could see sitting out. Most people would say, as my dad was like reading the paper and whatever, I'd be looking at my phone and you'd be, looking at your videos or whatever out on a screen porch and doing all that stuff. And it's just like the what ifs is it's magical, but the
It's
whole
also, but also the what ifs are stressful
oh,
too.
extremely stressful.
Yeah.
So me no likey. If I had to do it over again, I think going into if I had to do it all over again, I think I would enjoy it more because I know
You
what
know
to
what you're
look for.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was just like, oh look, the wall's white.
I think, and I've said this so many times, I know it won't change because, capitalism and all of these things, but for something that's your largest purchase, well, for regular folks, it will be your largest purchase. This is way too quick of a process. Like, I feel like every home should be some sort of like rent to own situation. Like, I should be able to test drive this house for, I don't know, a week maybe. You know what I mean? But like, you see it. We saw our house twice before we bought it. We toured it the first time, and then the day of closing. That's crazy to me.
Well, and we also I know I took a gander through the Zillows and the whatever Coldwell Banker and whatever they call what is it, Redfin.
Yeah.
You're able to look at it like that. But I mean, here's a funny, not really funny, but kind of funny. When we bought the house, I envisioned this house, and you see four sides to every house, but I'm looking like above the house, like I'm flying above the house.
Is this a dream?
No, this is my daydream. It is a dream, but this is what I envisioned before we walked into the house. So I'm looking over the house, and I see like the front of the house. I see the side of the house. I see the other side of the house. I see the backyard, nice backyard, and like it's like I see inside the house, and then we walk into the house for the first time, and you not.
You can say.
I shit you not. That I looked in the kitchen window and I said, "Where the heck did that house come from?"
What are you talking
And it
about?
was the pipe stem.
Oh.
I was like, "There's a house in our backyard."
Yeah.
I was like I don't remember seeing this. I don't remember seeing it. and I was like, "What is like? There's a whole house. There's two houses back here. I mean, it's not a big deal because." It is what it is. Well, I mean, we don't have a fence yet or whatever, but it just seems like it was like I had tunnel vision, and I just saw the house for what I saw it as. I don't know. I just didn't. The answer to your question, Jamie, is once again, I did not like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So for me, I wanted to buy a house for years. I don't know where this thing like popped into my head. I think it's my somewhat rebellious / Jamaican nature of wanting to like call your own shots and hating how there were things I wanted to do to my apartment and I couldn't do it because it's not my place. Or no, actually that's not it. The crazy neighbors. I had a crazy neighbor, and I remember distinctly my nieces came to visit me. They were so cute and small at that time, and they have always been energetic, and they've always brought the drama, honey. Right. They were like running up and down. They visited me, and this was like day 2, I don't know, maybe. And I'd been living in the place for months, and they were running around and having a good time being kids. And homegirl starts knocking the walls. And I remember I was so pissed about that. I never got along with that girl. And I was so pissed about that. And I don't know if wouldn't say that that's the like catalyst or anything, but it was just one of the things where I was just like, I can't wait to be my own host. Like I want to be my host where my nieces and my one nephew can run up and down as they please. They can feel free, they can feel safe, and I don't have to sit there and think like, oh my God, that person is hearing me. Or like, you cough and you're like, oh my God, did they hear that cough? Like, I just wanted to be free and to do my own thing, call my own shots. And so that got into my head, and they call me Lola because Lola gets what Lola wants. And I was so determined. I saved every penny of my money. I mean, I've always been cheap, but like it was on steroids. Mm-hmm. And so for years, I just wanted to get this house. And so once we got married and the opportunity came up, we started to window shop. And that's one thing I would always tell people to do is to window shop. Even if you're, it's fun, right? But it's fun, but it also gives you an idea of what you are looking for, because I think I had certain things in my head about what I wanted, and then the reality of what they would actually cost to have. Like I had to wake up to that. And so, like, when you go into the house and you're like, oh, this has everything I want and it's in the area I want, and it's like over $1 million, you're like, okay, maybe I need to scale it back, you know? And then you start to think, like, what are the things I can do without? And then it's like what you said, you start to, like, dream a little bit and see yourself, like, you know, in the enclosed, porch, whatever, reading a book or on the TikTok or, whatever. No, I mean, for me, it was like I just wanted to be able to like breathe in fresh air. I'm an island girl, and I just like that's life to me. And so yeah, like going to these houses and just like looking and dreaming, and you feel so inspired and like energized. If you are at that stage where you want to buy a house, and even if you're not like financially there yet, I would say do it. Have fun with it and go and look at the houses that you can't afford. See how
Speak
the
it
upper
into
class
existence.
live. Yes, speak it into existence. Absolutely. I believe in manifesting and having faith in God and just like looking at things you want and like going towards it. And then also just seeing like, okay, like this is the area I want to buy in. What are the prices that the homes are going for? And like, what does it really like? What does it look like when you go inside? And so we did that for a couple of months, and then we were able to buy just before the interest rates went like sky high. Like they had already started to go up, but then we, kind of
Yeah,
caught
we
it.
got lucky.
Yeah, so I loved the experience. The pressure of like needing to get out of the apartment was nothing to me because I was like, God got this. But you were like on some other tape. You
I
let
didn't want to
the,
move in with my parents, although how much you love my parents, and I love my parents to death.
that's what I was
I
just like.
hate moving.
Yeah, well, that's the
I
other thing.
hate
Yeah,
it.
you were just like you didn't want to move, you didn't whatever, and I was like,
I've
whatever.
moved, like, I spent, I did a bunch of schooling because I'm a doctor,
He's
and
not.
I'm not a doctor. Uh, and there was a course in time where I moved from apartment to apartment. I don't want to do that
Yeah, nobody
again.
wants to do it, but like I didn't want to move again, but
But
it
could
would
you
have just
imagine
been
moving? But
temporary.
you like, yeah, be temporary. But you're like moving somewhere, and sometimes you have too much stuff, so you got to put it in a storage unit. So you're doing two types of move. If you're paying somebody to move, that's two different costs of going somewhere.
Yeah, but the rent that we were paying, bro, like
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
it
it
would
was
have covered
expensive.
it. It would have covered it.
But I mean, didn't they offer like a 6 month lease, and we just did it month to month?
I don't remember. I think. All right, so we've established one of us hated the process, one of us loved it. Would totally do it again. Um, let's talk a little bit about like the disappointment. So, of course, there's the disappointment that we couldn't afford the $2 million homes that we went and looked at. Oh my gosh, do you remember when we went and looked at that house that had the wraparound like porch and it had like I don't even remember everything it had. I just remember it had a porch and it was like in a nice neighborhood and whatever. And as soon as we walked through the door, the man was like, "Just to let you know, this house is over
I
a
don't think he
million
had an English
something."
accent, ma'am.
No,
But he was
no,
definitely snooty.
it was a snooty accent. Not that I think that the English or the British are
Uh-huh.
snooty.
Careful, careful.
Hi MIL and FIL. No, but he definitely was like very like nose up in the air, and I was
He
like,
looked one look at us,
yeah,
and he was like, "You can't afford this shit."
and he was like, oh, it's over a million, and we just looked at him. We were like, okay, yeah, cool,
No,
all
yeah, we
right.
played it off well.
Yeah, we did, and we kept looking, but then the whole time I was like, oh my
I
god,
wanted that house though.
it was nice. But I would love to be able to just be like, we looked at the house and we don't think it's good enough. Do you have something with more square footage? And just like
But it was kind of small in certain spots.
it was small. I think it was mostly about location and like
Yeah, it was nice.
they had a nice little yard and a nice enclosed. Like who does not want a 4-season porch? But anyways. But the disappointment is like we did bid on a couple houses, and I think it was a good thing that we bought when we did because like it was becoming a little less competitive, but it was still competitive. And the first house, I was just like, this is our home. Like I just swore it was our house. I could
Yeah, it
see
was nice.
ourselves in it. It was very homely, but it was somewhat modern. It wasn't too modern. It still had that little traditional thing to it.
It had the what's those ceilings that are really high?
Oh, the vault ceiling.
I
Is
guess
it vault?
yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a nice little like window that you could sit and read a book if you wanted to. You get pillows. You remember that going up the stairs?
No, I don't remember that.
It's kind of had a stairs, like one of the turn stairs. So you go up 6 stairs, and then you make
It's
a
very
right.
exact.
Make a Ewing? What?
As a, that's very
I
exact.
say,
6
she knows
it's,
all the
it's
she
okay.
knows
I
all
already.
the stupid
I have
terminologies. I'm like,
no
it's a
because
floorboard.
you said 6 stairs. So I was just like, did you remember that? Like, is it 6?
No,
Is it
because
7?
most stairs are like 13 or 12, right?
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's only because I'm weird. But go up some stairs. You at home, go up your stairs. It should
And
equal
count
about
them.
13 or 12. If it's more, you're rich. Thank you.
I feel like it's not accurate, but we'll Google it and confirm later.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll look at it because I still have that house saved, and every now and again I look at it and I'm like, it's just like the one that got by.
Yeah, but that's the one that was at No, I disagree. Because
I know you disagree.
it was a nice home, and I really wanted it, and we finally agreed that like yes, let's do that. I think that was a celebration right there because we all like couldn't get.
Yeah, for a while we were wondering if we would ever see something that we really liked.
Yeah, and it was a nice house, and it was in a pipe stem, right? Pipe. What is it called?
Yeah,
pipe
was
stem?
it? Yeah, no,
There
yeah.
were only 2 houses in the pipe stem, but we were the end house. The one problem with the house was that you had a problem with was that it was fenced in, but it was next to a main road.
Yeah,
so the road
and
was busy.
it was very busy, and like you could, when you were outside, you could hear whoosh, whoosh, and I just really wanted my outside space to sit outside and like enjoy the nature and talk to God and all of the things and chill with the cat because she also loves her outside space. And I just didn't want that I didn't want the noise pollution. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So it was like a thing we were like back and forth about. And I was like, will it bother us? And I remember we went inside the house a million times just to like see if we could pick up or hear the noise and all that. And so after going back and forth, we were like, okay, yes, you're going to put in an offer. And it was just like really exciting, but also very scary because I'm like, we're actually doing this. Like we're moving forward. And I remember I wrote the most beautiful
Yeah, that was the
letter.
plan because then my mom say, "Let's write a
Like
letter."
write a letter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was your mom or if it was the realtor. I can't remember who suggested it, but I wrote this letter. Your mom may have edited it, but like I wrote this like really. I thought it was a beautiful letter, like talking about how we saw ourselves in a house and
First family, blah blah blah.
yeah, like first time home buyer and like it was just like intimate, personal like details, and didn't offer them enough money, so they passed.
No,
on
but
us.
didn't they? They were like, it comes down between you and another person. Or was that the
Yeah,
second
they
one?
wanted to know. It was the first one. They were like, they wanted to know if we would go up, and I was like, I
No.
looked at my bank account. And I was like, absolutely not. Go
But
on with your
I was
house.
sitting there going like, yeah, of course, we'll go.
Yeah,
up.
of course, yeah.
How much money do you want?
I'm always the
Yeah, we're
one
not
being
doing
like,
it.
do not jump off of that cliff. Like, let's dress back.
But I was prefaced or not prefaced, whatever. I was warned by I think my dad, because my dad is very similar to my wife. Very
He's my mentor.
very careful with money. We'll call it that, but you can't take it with you. Anyway, so somebody did tell me, they're like, expect to not get your first bid. Like
Yeah.
don't like just because you fall in love with a house, don't assume you're gonna get it. It's just the way the world works.
Yeah,
So.
but it was still really disappointing. I just felt like really had my heart on it, but it was like whatever. And then we saw a second house, same issue, that like it was very noisy. It was by a very busy street. This one I think was worse, but oh my gosh, when I mean the backyard space
It
was
was huge.
huge. Like we could have built a guest house.
We were
on
gonna
that.
build a guest house.
Yeah, we were just like, oh, we could
That's
do
that.
this.
That's that daydreaming again.
Yeah, the thing that I will say licked me over my head, as we'd say in patois, which basically means it hit me over the head, was the prices of things. Like how expensive it was or is now, because it just hasn't changed since then. How expensive it is to do any little thing, to outsource it. So this idea that we had that we would build a guest house with plumbing and electrical, that was a dream. Would not have happened. We would have been staring at that grassy backyard for I don't know how long once we've got some coats in. But yeah, I remember even we looked at this really old house that like it was in a nice neighborhood. Outside looked beautiful. Talk about keeping up with the Joneses. They kept outside impeccable, but inside run down.
Yes, that house was very beautiful on the outside. I would have bought it as is. If it was like one of those auctions, and they're like,
Oh, where you
there's
pay
this
next to
house.
nothing.
You
Yeah.
can't look into it, or you can't look inside, but we're starting the bidding at $200. I mean, it's sold.
Well,
I'll
of
give you I'll
course.
give you 250. Now, I'm just saying in general, like if it was affordable, I take it. No
Yeah.
questions asked.
But it wasn't
Inside was a
it wasn't
wreck.
moving ready. Like I would have felt so gross in that house.
Oh, it was a
No
wreck.
shade to those owners, but like
Shade.
I would have felt so gross. So we wouldn't have been able to move in, which have defeated the whole purpose of us moving out of the apartment and being able to move into the house. And I remember like being outside and just like loving how it looked and whatever. So we were walking around, even though we knew we weren't going to get the house, and we were talking to the realtor, and he was like saying, oh, it would require, a lot of work, and he's like,
To fix
to
her up.
paint it. He was like, to paint it. He said something like it would be 20,000. I was like, it was in the tens of thousands. And I was like, it would cost what? I was like, absolutely not. For paint, I was like, I'm not paying that for somebody to paint the walls. And he was like, okay, well, whatever. And I thought he was talking out of his ass. But fast forward, and I learned how expensive it is to paint. To get rooms painted. So we did a little bit of, like we said, window shopping, and got passed up on a couple of houses, and then eventually we got our house that we have now, and it's an older house, which
It's not
you're
that old.
no, I said it's an older house, but you're not. I grew up in Jamaica, and my parents also owned our house. Like I've only been one home, but like owning a home in Jamaica versus America is two different things. First of all, the process is different. Second of all, like I said, I was born in that house, so I was never like a part of that process when they were going through it. So I just opened my eyes and my home. But also just like the way the houses are built are different, because like we have earthquakes and hurricanes in Jamaica.
Yeah,
And
you're built
so
with cement.
yes, our homes are built with cement, and you can do all sorts of things upstairs, and nobody below you is going to be like,
Yeah.
who is this over my head? It's soundproof. And
And that's
so
the way they used to make it here back before they started, like, the population started growing exponentially.
Exponentially.
Like, if you take a house that was built in the 50s or the 30s, 40s, 50s, it's brick. It's all brick. Yeah, the house that I grew up in, it was brick.
was it?
Yeah, it was brick, all brick.
So
And then they moved to the 70s. They started making the ones like similar to like what we have, and it's not cookie cutter, but it's not brick either.
yeah, it's definitely not brick. But the reason why I say that is like one is like you used to a house being a certain level of like sturdiness, and in Jamaica,
creaks.
and
It creaks.
yeah,
That's
there's
what
certain
you don't
yeah.
like.
No, I definitely don't like the creaks.
What's that thing
like
on the
when
wall?
we did the inspection, I said to the man, I was like, "What is this?" Like and I started like going back and forth on the floor, and I was like, "What's this? This noise creaking?" He's like, "Oh, all you have to do is just do this and hammer that down and do, and it will, whatever."
It's
And
a
like
house settling.
he
No,
was
but-
like minimizing like some of the things you have to do, and it's simple if you know what you're doing. As a first-time home buyer, I don't know how to do half of the things he was talking about. Oh, you just need to do this. But it's not just the creaking, but the biggest thing for me, because I'm like very paranoid about like health and stuff like that, is like all these warnings. I don't remember where I first saw it. I think it may have been when we were putting in a bid on one of the first houses, and they will give you like all these disclosures and whatever. It had to be, I don't remember, but whatever. Got some lead disclosure, and I started looking into lead and reading up on it and what it does, and like where it can be, and I lost my mind. And
Yes,
I
you did.
started talking to your parents about it and your sister, and they were just like, oh yeah, we probably had it in our house, and
Yeah, 'cause
it's
we
no
grew up that way.
problem, and blah 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 blah. And I was just
Got
like,
blood in my blood.
I was like, I don't like this at all. And so it's made me very paranoid about like everything in our house. And then there's also asbestos, and I'm like,
There's no asbestos.
no, I'm not saying there's asbestos in our house, but like that's one of the other concerns that you have with older homes. So I just, it's made me a little paranoid. But you're used to it. You're just like, oh, I grew up in an old house. Like that's fine. Oh, that crack right there, that's fine. Whereas I'm like, let's get a structural engineer ASAP Rocky. Like he needs to come out and
Do
check
you
this out.
know how much a structural engineer costs just to walk through your doors? Remember when I called that structural engineer? You're like, I need quotes for somebody to come out here and look at the house. I'm like, okay, reluctantly. So I call these numbers when one number is fine, it's X amount. Number two is X amount. The fourth guy I call goes like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I'm like, "I want you to come and take a look at the house. The structure, make sure it's okay. Which room? What do you mean which room? If I have to look at the whole dang house, that's going to cost an arm and a leg. Just tell me which room you want me to look at."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Because each room's different. One room could be 400. One room could be 1,600. I'm like, "Sir, I just want to know. I just want you to come out and take a look
Just
at
like
that."
an assessment.
It's like, you asked me when you said, "Which room?"
Yeah.
So
He I remember you saying like he wasn't very, not just friendly, but he doesn't seem willing to
condescending.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are condescending. They're like, "What do you mean you don't know?"
And then, well, let's not say a lot, but you can come across some characters like
Everybody's a contractor. Period.
well, you say everybody's a contractor.
Everybody's a contractor. We went through that with, like looking to fix a bathroom.
Yeah.
Everybody's a contractor. Not everybody has a license. Not everybody's willing to pull permits, but everybody can fix something.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to charge you an arm and a leg. Oh, I can fix that. That's
Yeah.
$50,000.
Oh, anyways, we're gonna have a whole episode on the bathroom, the half bathroom, and our main bathroom, and all. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I I will say that yes, sometimes a lot of work people will be very condescending, and it's condescending from, like, for me personally. Some of them are sexist, and so when I'm saying certain things to them, like, they'll dismiss what I'm saying.
Oh, they look at me.
And yeah, they'll look at you.
They're
or
talking to me. I'm like, "Sir, this is not me. I don't want this.
You're not.
She
you're.
does."
I'm the one that's like obsessed with DIY and like read up on everything and know some of the terms. I won't say all, but like this is like my thing. Like, I brought you here and I have an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. So like I have all these questions and I question everything they're doing or what they claim they're going to do. And then it's like they'll be answering my questions and then they're looking at you and you're looking on them like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong person, man.
There's a audio or whatever you call it that like circulated on Instagram that made me laugh, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I don't know if I ever sent it to you, but like it was this guy saying like, he's like doing a stand-up. I have to find the person's name, but like he's doing a stand-up and he's just like, my wife, she's like into DIY and home improvement and stuff, and he's like, I don't know anything about that stuff, but when she, and so she'll order workmen to come to our house to give us estimates on stuff, and like the plumber will show up and he comes to me, he's like, sir, I'm here to look at your water heater, and I'll be like, he's like, where is it? He's like, I don't know where it is. He's like, I don't know where to point you. And he's like, and then the contractor will look at me, and this is the guy talking. He's like, contractor will look at me, and it's different times, like it's modern times. So he'll look at me, and he's like, well, is your husband home? And he's like, no, but my wife is. And he's like, I have to leave it to my wife, and nobody believes that my wife is the one that knows all of these like things. And that's like our situation, and it's not because you can't do it, you just don't like it and you find it overwhelming and you would rather just like spend the money to contract it out. But I'm like,
I have no desire.
But we don't have the champagne budget, we have the bare budget, so we have to do the bare work. Get it?
Yes, I get your bare work.
The bare budget. So that brings us to the end of part 1 of our journey to owning a home. We do hope you'll join us for part 2, where we will be equally chaotic and just as helpful and funny and useful, which I hope is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. But please join us again. Let us know if there are any specific topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future or to go deeper into. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer them. Again, we're not experts. We're just people on a learning journey, and the curve was very, very steep for us, and we just want to lessen the curve for you. So thank you for joining us, and please join us again for the CIY path. Bye.